Okay, I want to talk about Christine.
Woo! Let's go in.
Okay. And I'm gonna try. I don't want to say too much because I know, Aaron, you're gonna have plenty to say, right?
I don't know what to say anymore.
The only thing I want to talk about is it's very hard to defend Christine when she has these DRs during the veto about, I want to win this veto, I want to show these guys, I want to keep Amber in the game, I don't want Amber to leave. Be like, well, Christine, if you didn't want Amber to leave, then maybe you should have thought twice before you threw her under the BB bus to your alliance. If you really want to keep her in the game, or I don't know, work with her to take out some of these bigger targets, maybe you should think about what you say to the people in the game.
I like the voice that you...
You still keep on going like octaves and octaves higher.
I'm just saying, maybe you should think. But no, seriously. Like, am I the only one frustrated about that? Like, about this?
I'm not even worried about her. Like, she's
You're not even worried?
You're not even on my radar, Christine. Right?
Maybe it's just because I still think highly of her. I think she's still playing a good game. It just was not a good week for Christine for me. I was just not a fan. Like, not personally, but strategically, just wasn't making a lot of sense. And I'm having this fear now that Christine is going to be one of these players that is all talk and no action. Like, everything she tries to do or say just gets manipulated by someone else and becomes part of their plan. Yes, Keith.
I was just, I was extending my pointer finger because you touched on the topic that I completely 100% agree with.
Touch!
I do not believe a single thing that Christine says until she does something. Like, she can say all she wants. She can talk about, oh, I'm not going to use the veto on the nominations. I'm going to make them stay the same this week. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But until you do something, I can't believe what you're going to do, Christine, because you literally have done nothing this entire time.
I wonder if that DR was recorded after the veto.
In my opinion, I could see where Christine is coming from, because I'm sure she felt frustrated and betrayed, not only for giving them the information about Amber, but for being nominated alongside Amber after giving that information. So maybe that's why she backtracked immediately and was saying, I want to keep the nominations the same. I'm safe this week anyway because I won Battle of the Block. So I want to just make sure that nominations stay the same and kind of like show this alliance that I have some power and some say, because you don't believe it whenever I'm having a conversation with you. However, Christine still has yet to win a competition to be able to have any sort of word in edgewise. So until Christine wins power, maybe she could be part of the shift away from the detonators, because she is probably the outcast of the detonators.
I would say that. Especially after this week.
I would have said that when she got invited to the bomb squad, she was an outsider.
Oh, yeah. And I think the moment that you go up from a member in your 5-person alliance, when there's 12 people left in the game...
Within the same week that it was founded.
It's like, maybe you should... reevaluate the people you're hanging out with, Christine.
I mean, Christine needs to blow it up. That's what she needs to do immediately. She needs to blow up this 5-person alliance, make those 4 guys the outcasts of the house. Because there's still 12 people? 11 people?
11 people now.
There's 11 people? You could easily do 7 on 4. 7 on 4. And those 4 people are some of the strongest competitors in the game. Let Caleb know that he wasn't inside the Detonators Alliance. He'll be furious. He'll go after those guys quicker than anybody else. So,
I have a problem with that being the Nicole situation, which she's already been treading on thin ice for, to have to come to Nicole and be like, hey girl, I was in this alliance, I didn't tell you about it type of deal already, and it's like, here we go again. I really don't trust, I feel like that would be the last straw for Nicole. Be like, well, you're definitely not somebody I trust. But she's already on shaky ground right now.
Right? Yeah, it's too late. It's too late for that. If Christine was going to tell Nicole about the detonators, that window's already passed. If she brings it up to her now, it's just completely, it destroys the trust that they had. And that sucks because that's Nicole, or that's Christine's escape plan. That was her detonator escape plan. these were the people that she needed to have to be like, okay, this is the part of the game. We gotta get Frankie out. We gotta get Derek out. We gotta get Cody and Zach out. But now she's finding herself in a really awkward position where she's in the bottom of the detonators, and then now the people that are supposed to be her escape plan aren't going to trust her anymore, and it's going to get her evicted.
I agree. Christine did poor management of her alliances and her ties inside the house. That I'm not disagreeing with at all. But she needs to act now. Unless she wants one of these boys to win the $500,000, she has to expose it. Like, that's the only way that these four are going to ever be targeted inside the house, and for her to have some sort of power, some sort of worded edgewise. Sure, Nicole would be upset that Christine kept this on the down low for a second time, but the fact that if she could make it official that these four guys are working together, that'll be far more threatening and would have to have immediate repercussions immediately than to be mad at Christine for exposing that information. And I feel like, unlike the detonators, who didn't appreciate Christine as an ally with this information, they would still protect Christine in going after those four guys initially.
I think Christine has to tell Nicole. It's just going to be depending on how she handles it, how Christine handles that conversation or presents that conversation, because it's very too little, too late as of right now. Yeah. I feel like Nicole, but who knows? But she's got to do it because it's going to come out sooner or later, and she definitely wants to be the one that tells Nicole. Because if it doesn't come from Christine, then I don't see any reason why Nicole should take or trust Christine. Although I think it would be even better for Nicole to just drag Christine at that point and just completely destroy her in the finals. But I don't know if Nicole will have that capability though.
Yeah. And Christine's all talk, no walk anyway, so like the most you can do is just say things, and like that would be something that you could bring to the table. Just expose what you've been, these thoughts that were being casted for you. So, and it's not like the detonators were formed by everyone mutually. It was formed by Zach. So like, come on, just expose it for what it is. And you got nominated the same week. You don't have to take any ownership of being a part of the detonators officially, Christine. Just expose it. That's what you need to do.
So many people are so clueless inside and outside the house. Like, people really think that they know about these people based off of the edits that they get. I'm like, no. Like, I can honestly tell you, I know nothing about Hayden's game. Like, I know that he likes Nicole. I know he's been invited to some alliances, but I'm guessing that he's wanting to go to the end with Nicole. But I mean, you just don't know. And there are people that'll have their own little, oh no, Hayden's doing this and he's with this person. He's gonna do that. We really don't know. It just kills me when people who don't watch anything but the actual show like to say that what they think is the only thing that's going on in the house.
Because, as one of those people that only watch the show and not the live feeds, I had no idea that Amber was such a house target, until Zach won HOH and was, completely going after Amber. I was like, oh, the house is okay with Amber leaving? I had no idea about that. So, yeah, the information that we're given, we only get 3 hours a week, for every week of activities. It's just too much,
and most of it, it's not even about the game.
And we're talking about, Zac Efron.
Yeah. Which is why I'm excited when the Battle of the Block leaves, because it throws a chunk of irrelevant information out the window.
Yes. Battle of the Block's so bad.
America had the task, or the pleasure, of giving Frankie, Donnie, and Derek the task of Derek and Donnie voting against the majority, and then right after the eviction, blaming two people for those hinky votes publicly. I saw it on the feeds that Derek and Frankie were talking, and Derek was like, "Do you think I told America that we didn't do it because Donnie didn't want to? You think that's throwing him under the bus?" And Frankie's like, "No. But yeah, that is throwing him under the bus, because Derek's game is so layered. It's him playing against house guests, him playing against America. It's just everything. I don't know what's real. I don't know what's real Derek, because he's playing against them, and he has a way of the way that they see him, perceive him. We have a way of how we perceive him too, and he's he's really watching that one a lot. Like, he's watching both of how he looks to everybody, but he's really making sure that America doesn't see him in bad light. And for me, that was bad light.
It was bad light. And what would have been good light had he did throw Donnie under the bus is to throw the hinky vote. Like, Donnie said he's not comfortable doing it, but I'll do it. I vote to evict, who was it? Jocasta.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have, like, made it somewhat better because you're throwing Donnie under the bus, but you're still trying to follow through with the task if you do want to say that Team America is your, like, number one priority. But to just throw Donnie under the bus and then still vote with the majority is like, well, what was the point? Like, what's the issue? Like, what's the matter?
Yeah, what was the point of you saying anything about Donnie? If you did what you were supposed to do, then you have all the reign to be like, Donnie didn't do what he was supposed to do, but I did.
Exactly.
Like, I understand you want your 5 Gs. Like, you want your 5,000. I get it. But I'm definitely on Team Donnie for this. You didn't come here to win chump change when there's $500,000 on the line. Like, if you were to get that America's Mission task, you get your 5,000, and then you're evicted next week. Like, was it really worth it? And I feel Donnie on that. I didn't come here to just win chump change.
Good for Donnie. I think we can attest, like in Big Brother 8 with America's Player and Eric Stein, his game was screwed, and he did come up with a good sum of money, but he could have won the game, I think. And, you know, that was my big fear about Team America. You know, we've got 3 really strong players. I think every single one of them has a really good shot at winning. And this twist could really affect that. It could really hurt them. So I was very proud of Donnie, and it made me respect him a hell of a lot even more than I already did. Just that he had the guts to stand up to not just Frankie, not just Derek, but in reality, CBS, and in reality, the public. You know, just being like, listen, like, I love you guys, and I'm thankful for this opportunity, but I'm not going to play your game. If I think that this is going to be bad for my game, then I'm not going to do it. I've came here to play my own game, and any mistake that I make is going to be my mistake and not anyone else.
Exactly, because Eric went into his season knowing he was America's player. Donnie was voted to be America's player, so he didn't go into this season thinking he had to impress America. When he gets that envelope on the DR chair and he's reading it, he's like, oh, I'm part of Team America. Yeah, I'll try to do what y'all want to do. I'm still here for me and for my 500, but if it's something that is going to coincide with my game that won't, like, completely diminish it, sure, I'll do it. But if it's something that's going to ruin my game and be out of my character to, like, charade myself of, like, calling someone out when I would never do that, then no, I'm not going to do it. It just doesn't make sense.
But anyway, what you gonna do, girl? What you gonna do?
What you gonna do, girl?
See the black girl about you.
Okay, for this episode of What You Gonna Do, Girl, What You Gonna Do, I'm gonna center it on someone that I'm not a fan of, someone that I don't believe is playing a very good game, and that is the exact reason why they could use my advice. Caleb, Beast Mode Cowboy. Listen, Caleb, I think it's safe to say that your entire game was just you trying to get a girl that didn't like you to like you. And now that she's gone, well, there's just a bunch of doors that are open, and it's your job to open them. You gotta open them. You gotta walk through them, you big dummy. And so, what I recommend to you is pay attention. It's simple, but effective. You think you are running things, but think about it, Caleb. You're not. You barely talk any strategy. And when you do, it's always super quick, one conversations. Here's something I want you to think about, Caleb. Next time that a bunch of your so-called alliance members are in a room, just walk in. Walk in, sit down, and just see how the mood is. Does it change? Is it obvious that whatever they were talking about has been cut off? Well, that, my friend, is a sign that you are not playing a very good game. So you need to get over Amber. Forget about it. She's gone. You'll see her at the reunion. You can tweet her when the show's over. Good luck. You need to focus on the people that are in the game now. You need to focus about your target and your relationships with the different people, because a lot of people see you as a threat, and I think what your game plan should be is, listen, I'm not that big of a threat. I've won one competition. No, Yeah, one competition. But on a strategic standpoint, there are so many other people in this house that have great connections. Use yourself. Like, pitch yourself as a vote, as a player to have on someone else's side, because we're about to hit jury, and shit's going to get crazy, and people are going to turn on each other, and people just want to know, like, if you can offer to be on someone's side, that's going to mean the world to certain players. And I think it's your position to find out who those people are and start pitching yourself, or else you are going to be targeted soon, my friend. And that is what you got to do.
Alright, so it's time for your daughter and your mama.
And your daughter and your mother are too. Your daughter and your mother. Your daughter and your mother.
And I definitely thought about who I was going to attack, but literally while Jacob was going off, like something just clicked up on me, and I'm gonna give a couple of people some things.
Ooh.
So first off, I just want to start off by saying, Jacob, we said no cursing. Why would you curse? What's wrong with you?
I'm sorry.
Second, we're going to the house guest. Yeah, I'm sure you did. But you're done. I'm done. I'm done with you. The house guests. Half of these house guests, I'm going to turn to the basics, a.k.a. the floaters, the people who aren't really doing anything, who haven't won anything. I need y'all to pull it together. Victoria, I need you to pull it together. It's not about you. The crying, the moping around, that needs to stop. Sharkeisha, I need you to win a competition. Being out, like, first in a competition when you haven't done anything and you only hit the block. I am literally tired of seeing you and your DR talking about you're on the block again. You don't deserve to not be on the block. You haven't done anything to get yourself off the block. So don't complain about it. I need Nicole and Hayden to really do something. The love showmance isn't really worth it if you're not doing something about it. Because look at the house right now. Who's the target now? It's probably going to be you, Nicole, and you, Hayden. I just need y'all to do something. And Hayden, if you think that you were so tight with those guys, you were clearly mistaken. On the other side of the house, I need Caleb to play the game. Like, I'm glad that Amber's gone now. Maybe the quote-unquote Beast Cowboy can do something for himself. But let's be real. He thinks that all the people that are his friends in the house are going to keep him when they've really been manipulating him to get rid of the people that he liked. They manipulated him to help get rid of Devin, and they manipulated him to get rid of Amber. So they'll probably manipulate himself to get himself put on the block and evicted. I need Derek and Frankie to realize that they're still in Team America, and even though they are mad at Donnie because they lost $5,000, that's not the end of the game. There's going to be more missions, and going after Donnie is going to be a really bad thing if they're thinking of going that route. And you don't think America will come at you? You don't think that, Derek? Because I know you're worried about how America looks at you. Okay, so I'm done with those people. And then I still want to go after Amber. I know you're done, yes, but I can still go after you.
Yes!
That was the most pathetic interview I have seen in a long time. You literally had no... You and Joey were on the same level of not knowing anything that was going on in the house. The fact that you pointed at Derek and Donnie as the people that were running the house, like, I don't even... Like, what am I supposed to do with that? Because you're literally clueless. You're literally clueless. You blame Caleb for your eviction. Hello? Maybe the HOH, Frankie, the one that made you feel so good and nominated you for the second time, might I add. He's already put you on the block. How can you not blame Frankie? Like, what is wrong with you? It just goes back to those people who didn't know anything about this game. And I don't understand why America... Yes, I'm going in on you, America, can get mad at CBS for the things that these players are doing because they're not entertaining enough for you. Well, maybe you should tell CBS to stop freaking throwing people who don't know anything about the game in the game. Because when you do that, they do these rookie mistakes. They all cry about how, oh, I'm strong and I'm a competitor and I should stay here and I deserve to be here and I let my children and my dog died. And, like, no, like, that's not what Big Brother's about. So I need y'all to calm your pants. And last but not least, I'm going after that studio audience because the way that y'all were rooting for Amber and the things that she was saying, that was so beyond wrong. Y'all know, if I was in that audience, I would have been the only one standing up saying, Amber, you had no business having this interview. Julie needs to end this right now so we can start on the HWH so that it won't run into next week's episode. And finally, Julie, how dare you not wear something that was going to look good on you? You didn't look good. I didn't even comment about it. That's for your daughter and your mama.
That was the best episode of Your Daughter and Your Mama ever.
Stole the words out of my mouth. That was the greatest thing I've ever heard.
I mean, I know that you were seeing red, Erine, and I'm pretty sure you said Derek and Donnie were the people that ever said, but we know you meant what you meant. We know what you meant, Zach and Donnie. But
I just love the part because when you say if I was in that studio audience, I immediately just imagined you in that studio audience. Everyone's clapping. You stand up and be like, "Wait a second,
no, sit down, you hear me? Oh,
stop clapping."
All right, so I don't really have anything much to follow with that. But it is time to serve up some cake.
Anybody want cake?
I guess I'll go ahead and go in on, I guess, the epilogue of Caleb and Amber. We'll go ahead and talk about this. So this was a long time coming. And to be honest, I saw a different ending. So I think it's very good that the house sees something in Caleb. They see some potential there, that this girl is just blinding his blinders. And they chose to keep Caleb over Amber. A, because, Caleb is clueless and can be manipulated. But B, because, they don't like Amber. They want Amber to be gone. And with Zach and Frankie in the position of power, no girl is safe. So Amber, you're the strongest girl competitor. You're gonna get evicted. They went on this date. Caleb is doing everything he can to impress this girl, and from pickles to getting nominated next to her to throwing competitions, just seems like Amber just would not say yes to this date. So what does Beast Mode Cowboy do? Thinking that he's playing the game? Let's nominate her to punish her. Yeah, they do that, and Caleb takes full responsibility of it, which leads to the awkward dialogue between Caleb and Amber, where Amber says, "Do you have anything to say to me? I heard you wanted me nominated," and Caleb said yes. Okay, the conversation pretty much started and stopped there because they're both terrible game players. But the fact that Caleb and Amber are both clueless about what's going on in the house, with Amber thinking that Caleb's running things, and Caleb thinking that Caleb's running things, it's just a beautiful ending of what was a promising relationship. I also had to give major kudos to Julie at the beginning of the episode, talking about hopeless romantic or just plain hopeless. Welcome to Big Brother. That was glorious, and to find Caleb to a T for this little love fiasco. I was going to say triangle, but Cody was nowhere to be found this episode. He was just there to vote to evict Amber, and he just up and left. So maybe there was never any love triangle to begin with. This relationship is definitely over, but one on the horizon is Victoria, Hayden, and Nicole love triangle, so they'll still get their airtime for useless footage. So hopefully not too much, but yeah. That's about as awkward as it could get. I'm glad that it's finally over and we can stop talking about Caleb and Amber's relationship that never existed to begin with.